My brothers, I return, and today we have a little fun one, alright? So, over the course of parts 1 and 2 of How to Parry with the Bulwark, there were numerous requests for me to show gameplay of what was discussed in those videos in an actual operation or in a live environment. So that's exactly what we are going to do today. This is going to be kind of a long video because we are actually going to play through an entire operation. All right, so just sit back, relax, and I'm going to provide, of course, some commentary. We'll kind of fast forward through some of the lulls, do some frame by frame here and there so we can actually show that what we were practicing during parts 1 and 2, we are actually going to put that into practice here during an operation. So I want to show that to you guys. You guys have been asking for it. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, I don't like wasting time. So let's get into it. All right. So we're going to fast forward here a little bit. And we are doing Operation 2 today. That's one of the most popular operations, and everyone pretty much knows how this operation goes, what to expect during the encounters. But what I'm going to do is kind of talk about my mindset and approach and what I'm thinking about and looking for during operations and kind of what role I'm playing as the Bulwark. Alright, so just a quick shout out here to our brother Leon, who is our battle brother for this operation, and it's just me and him and a bot. So we're gonna get through this thing and we're gonna get it done. All right. Now, one of the things that I do want to go ahead and discuss as we're making our way through this first portion here is, like I said, the mindset and approach. I pretty much go into encounters with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to take some damage, I'm going to lose some armor, but ultimately my defense will see me through. Okay, the things that I have practiced with parry and dodging and things like that, it will see me through. I don't have to worry about, taking damage at all. And you will see that whenever I do have good defense, I am able to heal myself. I am able to not have any issues with most of the encounters that I get into. Okay, so at this beginning portion, we're just fighting off some smaller enemies, and not much is really going on here. But we are about to have our first encounter with a warrior, which is what we showed in part 1. So let's go ahead and show that. Now let me pause it really quick, and I want to talk about some of the things that I tend to focus on, or where my eyes are going towards, right? So this right here, this is of major concern to me. All right, as a Bulwark, I often use the perk that allows me to give my teammates or myself max contested health when I place my banner. So this does concern me because now that just went to the top of my priority list. Now one of my priorities is to make sure that my teammate gets healed. Okay, so I am keeping that in the back of my mind here. And also, I do look at this quite a bit. This is basically like a mini map to me. So it tells me what enemies are in the area. When I look at minors, I'm not too concerned with those, but when I see majors, I do pay attention to that because I know that majors are an opportunity for me to heal my teammate, right? So some people look at that and they see enemies. I look at that and then I see that my teammate has low health, and I see that as an opportunity to heal him. All right, so that's just something that I am thinking about. All right, so we have our first perfect parry here. So let's take a quick look at this. Let's look at this. Let's go back. All right. Now, as we can see, we do know this guy is here. We are paying attention to that. And I am watching him while fighting the miners. Okay? I am keeping my eye on him. And so that is how I was able to determine exactly when I should press parry here. So as you can see, just like we showed in part 2, if you take a look at the F key, we know that I am using F. Oh, by the way, I'm using F as my block or parry key. E is my dodge key, and R is my melee key for anyone that's actually looking at the keyboard. So I just took those 3 keys since they happen to be on this display and mapped that in game to the keys that I'm using for those things. So F for shield or block, E for dodge, and R for melee. Okay, so just like we practiced, you see where the enemy is and he's starting a blue parry window, right? This is where I press parry, just like we practice. And you're going to get pretty much the result that we showed in there too. The enemy comes, he swings his weapon, and he gets parried. Just like we showed in part 2. Now, do I have a 100% success rate in doing this? No, and you're going to see that. There's some times where I miss my parry, but that's okay because we know that we have good defense. We believe in our defense, and we know that it will see us through. Okay. So we're just gonna fight this major. There's another perfect parry. Now I'm not sure why this interaction happened. It was quite jarring to me because the timing of this was really weird. I thought I hit it in time. But it seems like I got a block. I'm just going to show this at half speed. But he still gets a gun strike opportunity. So I'm not quite sure exactly why that happened, but we take those. We do take those. Another perfect parry. So that's 3 perfect parries on this enemy, and we finish him off. Okay? Alright. So immediately when I was done and I realized that the coast was clear for myself, my eyes go back to here. I am still concerned about this. So I need to figure out a way to make this situation better. And I see a way to make this situation better right here. Okay? So we are going to find our teammate, and then after we find him, we're going to find a way to heal him. We have our banner. Our banner is ready, so we can heal him. Alright, now as we see, our teammate is now executing the enemy. Now the cool thing about this is you don't have to put the banner down before they need to execute the enemy. You can place it while they are doing their execution, and as long as they get that contested health before the animation is complete, they will get fully healed. So if you look at that, let's go back for a few frames here. So I place the banner, he's still at low health here, and then he instantly goes to full health. So that is something that I'm always keeping my eye on as a Bulwark, is checking my teammates' health and seeing if I have the tools to assist them in getting that health bar back healthy. That's something you should always be thinking about. Alright, and now we have a bit of an odd situation here. Okay, let's go back for a second. Let's go to half speed. We're going to melee this enemy. Take note of that. You know what? I think the Emperor just looked at me and said, "You missed a few parries back there, Brother Coast. I am going to not provide this time." And you know what? If that's how the Emperor feels, then it is what it is. We just got to move on, right? There's nothing we can do. Okay? So, it's gone. I don't really, I guess the physics engine, something with the physics engine, right? So that's gone. We missed the stem. Oh well, we just gotta move on. Sometimes the Emperor provides, sometimes he just decides that when you're playing bad, no. Alright. Now, one of the questions that I often saw in the comments section was, how do you deal with multiple majors? Okay, when you have multiple majors, like what is your approach? What is your line of thinking, right? So when we are looking here, we see that we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 majors. Okay, so we already know what we're dealing with before we even get into this fight. All right, so I'm already aware of what I'm getting into. Now, what my approach is I want to try to get all of those enemies, if I can, either in front of my shield so that I can play defense against them, or let my teammates peel maybe 1 or 2 of them off, and then I can fight the remaining and keep their attention trained on me. So that is my goal when approaching the situation. And let's take a look and see how that plays out. Okay, so I open up with a grenade just to kind of get some initial damage. Alright, and of course we need to stop reinforcements from being called. He becomes a top priority once that happens. Once they try to call reinforcements, we are immediately trying to stop that. Okay, so right now we have 2 majors focused on us, and then the other 2, I believe, are fighting my teammates there. Okay, so I'm able to successfully parry this one easily, but he's not dead yet. None of them are dead yet. And now it looks like 3 are focused on my teammate over there, Leon. He's going to go stealth in a second just to kind of save himself because he's very low health. Like I said, this concerns me. It does concern me. I am keeping my eye on that. I am actively thinking about that. Now, right now, the problem is I don't have my banner. Okay, we just used it a second ago to get him to full health. So I don't have my banner right now, but we are going to try to get him to hold on for as long as we can so that we can get back to a state where I can get him healed up, right? So we are able to get one of these enemies executed within that, and from there that just kind of created a, I guess, damage wave that did some damage to the other ones as well, right? So that was not that bad. Managing that was not that bad. That was not that bad, but we're going to have a pretty ridiculous encounter coming up right now. All right, so just taking a look at this situation. Let me go back for a second. Now, we already see that we have at least three ranged enemies in this pack. They're all majors, and there's at least three ranged units. All right, so we know that we are going to try to close the distance on them. You don't want to, as a bulwark, you don't really want to sit there and trade ranged with a whole bunch of ranged units. Plus, you have your teammates who have some range, so they can focus on that. You're going to close the distance and try to fight them up close. So I know that there's four of them, and I know that there's at least three ranged right off the bat. I'm opening up with some grenades just to get some initial damage, and of course that opened up a free execute. So I just left that for if my teammate wanted to do that. And of course now we're getting our perfect parries. We're being consistent with that. And this is extremely unfortunate for us. Okay, so as we can see, we now have some units that are a little bit of trouble for us. In particular, these zoanthropes. There's another one right here. There's always two of them that spawn, right? This is a bulwark's worst enemy. We do not want to see this unit. We hate this unit. We don't want much to do with this unit, okay? And the reason for that is all of their attacks are unblockable. You cannot parry them. They're all unblockables, right? So there's not much that we personally can do against these types of units. The only thing that we can do is use our pistol to do as much damage as we can during, because they switch their damage field between the two. So one is open to attack while the other has a shield over them. We'll shoot them as much as we can, but for the most part, we have to rely on our teammates to deal with these enemies, right? So that is what I am counting on. And I'm going to try to focus on something else and try to let my teammates deal with that. Unfortunately, I get targeted here, and I get hit for big damage and put in a little bit of a dazed state. But look at this. Our banner is up. We need healing. So we're going to have to take this opportunity to heal ourselves, right? We are low on health. We have no armor. This enemy can be executed, and we have our banner. All right, this is what we're going to do for right now. I think that this is probably the best play that we have in order to survive here, and that is our goal, is to survive. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to place our banner, execute, and get back to full health. Okay, and now we are just navigating the battlefield. We're not able to do much against this enemy, but unfortunately I made a bit of a mistake here. So I fell down. Now I am split from my teammates. They are left fighting that enemy, and I am down here. And I am down here for a while because now they decide to spawn an entire horde just for me. I guess that's punishment for getting split up for my team, but this is a good learning opportunity and a good opportunity for me to show you guys everything that I was talking about in part 1 as far as managing the horde. Okay, it is our job as bulwarks to manage the battlefield. We are managing. We are kiting things. We are putting things in front of our shield. We are playing incredible defense. We are trying to peel off high priority targets and make them focus us. These are all things that help manage the battlefield so that our teammates that deal a bunch of damage can do that without getting focused down too much, right? So now we are going to deal with this horde. Okay? So pay attention to how I manage this, right? I already see that I have at a minimum two majors, and then we got a bunch of minors. But like I said in part one, we are only focusing on the majors. We are only focusing on the warriors here. They're the only ones that concern me right now. I'm not worried about the little minions. They will die if I kill these two warriors. Okay? And you can see that I am just solely focused on dodging, parrying, and creating gun strike opportunities. I get hit here, but it's fine. I trust my defense. I trust that I'm going to heal myself back up because I practiced this. I know that I can consistently parry these warriors without a problem, and I'm going to do it every single time, and my health is of no concern to me. My health is of no concern to me, right? I'm not worried about my health. I'm not going to die. I am confident in my defense that I will not die. However, this is still a concern for me, and we want to fix that, but we are not able to right now, okay? These are still things that I am thinking about. I am keeping track of this as I am fighting. Trust me, I am keeping track of it, but we will manage it as we can. Okay, so we managed that horde great. No issues there. We were able to deal with the warriors easily. And now we just have a few more enemies to clear up, and we're good. We can move on. Alright, so we get rid of this guy. As you can see, I quickly turn around to see if there's a teammate near me that wants to execute this enemy. I'm not worried about my health, so I don't know if someone else wants to do the execute. No one's like near at that time, so I just go ahead and do it myself. And then we move on. Now, if you look here, this is of less concern to me now because of this dot right here. What that means is that my teammate found a guardian relic, which is basically if he gets downed, he can get back up and use the guardian relic. So now his low health is of less concern to me, but it is still a concern. I would rather heal him up so that he does not have to use that at an inopportune time, right? So I am aware of that. That is something that I am actively looking at. All right, let's continue. All right, and you can see I see a stem, and I'm just going to point that out. I'm going to mark it for my teammate so that he can use that, and that's some health that he can get right now to get himself back into a playable state, if you will. Right, and then I wait for him, and then we move on. And I think what happened was that horde that came and attacked me was supposed to spawn here, but because that encounter was just so wonky, it ended up spawning over there, which is fine. We can deal with that. Okay. Like I said, every time I am approaching a new area, I am looking at my mini map. I am looking at what units are in here because, like I said, I am still concerned. You can see he popped that stem, so he has a little bit more health, but I want to get him to full health. So some people see enemy when they look at this. I see this health bar going back up. That is what I see, and it's my job to make that happen. Alright, so we see the major there. I just open up with some grenades to kind of clear out some of the little enemies there. And now I'm going to try to put this enemy into an execute state, and we're going to plant the flag so that our brother can get healed up. There he is. I see he's doing the execute, so I put it down, and now he's back at full health. And now we can move on. Easy day. Always be looking as a bulwark. Pay attention to if your banner is off cooldown. If you are using this perk, just pay attention to your banner cooldown and keep a close eye on your teammates' health, or if you get low, you might have to use that for yourself. All right, and we're just moving on through here. And now I'm gonna get into a pretty rough situation that I wasn't completely prepared for. It did catch me off guard, but we're gonna get through it. We're not gonna die. We're not gonna die. We are going to be just fine. Our defense will keep us topped up. Our defense will save us. We will prevail. All right, now we just took out that major, and this is what our minimap says. So now we know that there is a target in the area that is of major concern, and we are about to find out exactly what that is. Look who it is. From Trial 3, the Tyranid Ravener. And he goes to town on me immediately. I am at very low health. I am almost dead. But I am not panicking. I am not concerned one bit. I am not concerned at all. Because I'm going to heal and I'm going to kill this enemy. And I'm going to get my health back. And I'm not going to die. These are the types of things that I am thinking about as I'm getting attacked. So we got one parry off on him, and there was just so much damage going to him that there was nothing he could do. He got annihilated, mostly because of my teammates. They helped me out greatly there. And that's one thing that you have to really pay attention to, that although you may be frontlining a good majority of the encounters, you do have teammates and they will back you up. A lot of times when you are managing the Horde, you should be trying to pull those enemies to your teammate so that you have them in range. Although they're focused on you, they are in range for damage. So going back here, I was low on health, so I used my banner to heal. My teammates were already in good health, so I used it on myself. Don't be afraid to use your banner. That's one thing. It's gonna cool down. And another thing is that when you go to a resupply where you can select your loadout, everything comes off of cooldown. So if your banner was on cooldown, it's coming off of cooldown. If your ammo gets replenished, your banner comes back, so you're all set at that point. And I think you get full health as well. I think all bulwarks, when they interact with the resupply, they get full health, and I believe that's because of our starting perk that gives us plus 20% health. So whenever we use that resupply, we get more health from it than every other class. Now, when we talk about managing the Horde, you are about to see something pretty interesting. So we just finished planting the bombs, and I see this enemy shooting at us. We're waiting to activate the door. So I'm just gonna go over there and I'm gonna kill this enemy really quickly. Gonna perfect parry him. It's not a problem. But this is a problem. This is a big problem. Let's take a look at this situation. Always be aware of your surroundings, right? We have an enemy wave incoming. After we see that this door got opened. We didn't open it, so we know our teammate opened this door. But the problem is we see him sprinting through there. So what this indicates to me is that the teammate Leon, our brother Leon here, he wants to get to the elevator and get out of this section as fast as possible. That is what I am thinking when I see this. That's what it seems like his intention is. So now, forget all fighting. I am going to sprint behind him and make sure that we can get to the next section without him taking too much damage or dying. Because this enemy wave is coming in, we know that there are a lot of enemies that are on the way, right? So let's take a look at what happens here. I immediately start sprinting after him. I'm ignoring all the enemies, and I'm just going to run down there to where he is. I'm going to catch up to him. And there's just a bunch of enemies in here, right? So I get on the elevator because I'm thinking that was his intention. So I'm just going to sit here and try to fight and see if he activates, if that's what he is trying to do. But unfortunately, we get completely overran, and now it's pretty much impossible. So now we have to fight this horde. And now my job just became very clear as far as what I need to do, right? Now let's take a look at the situation we're in. Let's really grasp what's happening here. This is of concern to me. I am concerned about this. However, this makes it less concerning, right? The fact that he has a self-revive makes it less concerning, but I am very concerned. There are at least 4 to 5 majors in here. I am fully aware of that, right? So it's my job now to manage, and I'm gonna play this at half speed. I'm gonna play this whole situation at half speed, so you can get a good idea of exactly what I mean when I'm saying I am managing this horde. All right, let's look at this situation. And I apologize for the length of the video, but I think these are very good demonstrations from the questions that people were asking me about what I do when there are a bunch of enemies on screen and we have to deal with all of that, right? So I am just looking for opportunities. I'm just paying attention to the majors. I'm not paying attention to the small little creatures. I am looking to see when they are attacking me, and I am going to parry them. I'm going to parry them, and I'm going to create gun strike opportunities. Alright, there's another perfect parry. They're all on my shield. They're all looking at me. I shield bash to kind of create some space, but I am still looking at them very intently, and I have very deliberate actions that I am taking to manage this horde. Okay, there's an unblockable attack. We dodge that. Take any gun strike opportunities we see. Blue parry window. We get the parry, but we don't get a gun strike opportunity from that, which is fine. We take this. It stuns the horde. Blue parry window incoming. We dodge that, and then we look for another parry. And there we go. We parry that. Now, the reason why I turn my back here is because now, let's go back a second here. So I see this. Because I have everything in front of me, I see this right here. And what this tells me is I can fix this. This enemy is ready to be executed, and my teammate is already there. So now I am going to make my way over there and place my banner, which is off cooldown, so that he can get healed. And there it is. Now he is back full health. and now my concerns have gone away. I'm not that concerned anymore. Okay, he has full health and he has a self heal. I took some damage there, which is fine, but we're gonna heal that back. I have full confidence that we can heal that back. We're okay. There's no need to panic. Okay, so now we're back to managing the horde. We're just looking for perfect parry opportunities. We're waiting for attacks. There's a blue perfect parry window. We take that, and we are gun striking our way to victory. And now you can see that most of the horde is cleared out, and now we only have a couple more enemies to deal with. I think like 2 majors and a couple of the small enemies. So this is what we are talking about when we are saying to manage the horde or to manage the battlefield. You control the battlefield in situations like this as a bulwark. Your enemies are focused on dealing damage, and they are going to deal damage, or I'm sorry, your teammates are focused on dealing damage, and your job is to try to just make that, I forgot to remove this, to make that easier for them, right? Your job is to just make that easier. Alright, now we already pretty much know what this part is about. We don't really need to focus this much on this part. We will go ahead to this portion and show some of this gameplay. I'll just let this play out so that you can see the encounter, but this is one of the easiest encounters. I rarely see people die on this encounter at all. Now I am keeping an eye on my teammates' health. Like I said, we are certainly keeping an eye on that, but I rarely see people die during this encounter, so it's really not that hard. Just get through it and move on. Just gonna let this play out. Alright, and I'm gonna try to get my teammate healed up right here. I ping him and let him know, like, hey, let's get you healed up. He sees it, he gets the execute, he gets his health back, and we're good to go. And then that's pretty much the end of this encounter. We just move on after this. So I'm just gonna skip ahead. Alright. Next encounter. First thing I'm looking at is, of course, this right here. I'm seeing what I'm up against. I see it in front of me, but I'll always check my UAV just to make sure I know what's in that section, right? Now you're gonna see I'm gonna miss some parries here. We get some perfect parries. I will miss some parries here. But we are trying to manage the horde. We're trying to get as many of these enemies focused on us. Our health is low, but we're not concerned at all. We have our banner. We have 2 stems. Nothing concerns me at all. We're going to heal back that health just like that. And this is what you do. You just manage the horde. You parry when there are parry opportunities there. A large majority of the small enemies will die, and that'll just leave you with 1 or 2 majors left, and you just whittle them down. It's not that hard. Our teammate's health is low, even though we just healed him recently. He plays a class that is very squishy, so it's very easy for him to have low health. And we realize that. Now, this is of concern, right? So we know, and we just saw that a lictor had just spawned. So this is of concern, and we are going to pay attention to that. I know that I know that it's getting pinged. I'm clearing out these other enemies so that we can just make space in order to just focus on this enemy right here. Okay, I finally got him focused on me, and now I'm going to parry him. Easy. Just like that. It's a little difficult to get this enemy to, he chooses his targets at random, so it's hard to really get him to fully focus on you. We get a perfect dodge on that attack, and then we just finish him off. Unfortunately, my banner is not ready, so I cannot get my teammate healed up right here, but that's okay. We just move on. We just move on, and we will get him healed up soon. Alright, and just gonna fast forward here. Alright, and then we use this opportunity to heal our teammate. He's back at full health. We're good to go. We're rocking and rolling. We keep it going. I always try to mark up, especially if I have ranged teammates, I always try to mark up an enemy to get them to maybe focus that enemy down, or to focus that enemy so that I can focus on something else. Man, this dude is dodging. Good lord, he was going crazy. That was bananas. Okay, he put the jukies on me. Alright, so we get rid of him. We keep moving. We clear out these small enemies, and then we move on to the next section, right? Alright, now this situation is very similar to the one we saw earlier, but slightly different. We execute some perfect parries here. We get these enemies killed, but unfortunately we get another Zoanthrope spawn here. Extremely unfortunate for me. Because we know as Bulwarks that there is very little that we can do with these enemies. So it's just unfortunate, but we do what we can. And right now I'm just trying to stay out of their line of sight while just providing some cover fire for my teammates. I'm marking them up, show him where they are, and I am just going to try to not get hit. Pretty much I am going to get hit because I tried to push through these enemies and I still got hit. So it's just an unfortunate situation for me. I just wanted to get on the other side of them so I could get some cover and get a line of sight and shoot them in the back. That was what I was trying to do here. But now that this has happened and I've taken a considerable amount of damage, we're going to try to get this enemy down so that I can heal myself. Even though I really don't need to heal because I know that there is a resupply up coming in a few minutes pretty much. So I don't really need to do this, but I did it anyway. Because the resupply is going to give you your banner. It's going to bring it back off a cooldown anyway. So, alright, so we move on. We're pretty healthy. Our teammate still has his self-revive, so now we're just going to move on to the boss fight. Alright, and we'll talk about the boss fight and discuss it a little bit. The Hive Tyrant. We'll discuss that. So right off the bat, the Hive Tyrant, right? We know that when we start this encounter, he does a lunging stab move, right? Everyone in the party should be able to perfect dodge this. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to perfect dodge this. Everyone should just stay together right at the beginning. All of you perfect dodge this, which means all of you get a free gun strike. That's some free easy damage to start the battle off right there. If all of you perfect dodge this, 3 free gun strikes for everyone. That's what I would recommend. So as you can see, I perfect dodge this. I get the gun strike to start this encounter, and you're gonna see a lot of perfect dodging here. I am gonna get hit from time to time, but you will see a lot of gun strike opportunities versus this boss. Okay? Not many parries. I think I only parry him one time, and I will tell you the reason for that later. There we go. There's a perfect dodge. Another one. Another one. 3 in a row. 3 perfect dodges in a row. Look at that. We're playing like gods. Okay, now he has spawned some ads. So now, when this boss spawns ads, what I am actively thinking about is I want to, here, I'm going to draw on the screen, and I just want you to follow me here. Let's say that this is the boss. The boss is here, okay? Now the boss is going to spawn ads, and they're going to come from one of the corners. Let's say they are coming from this corner, right? And there's a bunch of little guys coming from this corner. Okay? This is the boss. This is the big man. Now, I am here and I'm fighting the boss, right? So this is me. And we'll just say my teammates are here. My goal, or what I am actively thinking about doing, is I want to put the enemies between me and the boss. I want to be able to see all of the ads, and I want to be able to see the boss. So in order for that to happen, I need to be here. I need to be here so that my vision is I can see these ads and I can see the boss. And what that does is allow me to keep an eye on what attacks the boss is doing, because he has ranged attacks. He has psyker attacks, that little 3-wave burst he does that you have to dodge. You can manage that if you put the ads between you and the boss. You can still see the boss in the background, and you can see the ads that are right in front of you. So that way you're not getting attacked from the back, and you have a pretty good idea of when to dodge the boss. Now, unfortunately for me, I didn't quite do that on this first encounter right here with these warriors, but we get some perfect strikes. We're playing some good defense. We get some perfect dodges. We're fine. We're fine. I'm not too concerned here. But with my back, or with the boss on my flank, the boss is over here. He's over here somewhere, and I can't see him. I am just focused on this right here. This is a big mistake. You don't want to do this. And the reason why you don't want to do this is because of this. That right there. That is the reason why you don't want to do that. This is why you need to put those enemies between you and the boss, so that you can see when the boss is doing an ability, and you can be prepared to react to that while managing what's right in front of you. So don't do what I just showed you. Always keep the ads between you and the boss. That is what you should be doing at all times. Okay, so I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to place my banner. We're going to get healed up, and then we'll focus back on the boss here. Alright, we're just dodging. And that's Bulwarks. I think we forget that we have a pistol. Please use your pistol, and use it often, okay? Use that pistol. You don't have to, if you're using the plasma pistol, you don't have to charge shot all the time. You can use your regular shots. Just be aware of where ammo resupplies are. But as you can see, we are perfect dodging this boss plenty of times in order to get enough gun strikes to stay healed up. We take damage, but we're using our pistol to heal ourselves back up. It's not that big of a deal. We are just fine, okay? Alright, so now he goes into phase 2. And I'm just going and looking for some ammo really quickly. I get hit by the first wave by doing that, but we dodge accordingly after that. And then we're right back into it. Of course, we know there's a few more things that you have to be concerned with during this phase. The little AoEs on the ground. He's going to spawn more ads, things like that. These are all things that we're aware of. And look at that, we parry him. Ooh, that was so clean. And then I accidentally pressed the wrong thing there. But look at this parry on the boss. Ooh, on his normal attack. Let's go. That's how we do it. And then I accidentally pressed the wrong button there. But we're good. We're right back in it. Oh, he gets me really good there. We heal that back up though with our pistol. It's no problem. It's no problem at all. Utilize your pistol. That's what it's there for. Do not forget that you have that in your arsenal, and it is a good method to get back some contested health. Perfect dodge. Somebody in the comment section tell me how many perfect dodges and gun strikes we did on this boss. Somebody tally that up and let me know. Alright, this time we're not going to make the same mistake we did last time. We're going to keep that boss in our vision, and we're going to put the ads between us and the boss. Now, unfortunately for me, that right there, I executed a gun strike at the wrong time and I got hit. But that's fine. That's fine. We're going to be okay. And this is a rough combination. To dodge this while the wave is coming, because you need to dodge that hit while also dodging the wave, so it's just a tough situation, but that's fine. We're still fine. We're not gonna die. We don't die. We don't die as Bulwarks. Okay, we perfect parry this guy, and we're gonna get him out of here. Alright. He's done for. We get our eyes back on the boss. We can see what the boss is doing. Okay, and we're good. We're using our pistol when we're not sure if he's ready to attack, so we're just using our pistol in order to get some damage in while we're waiting. Perfect dodge into gun strike. Another perfect dodge into gun strike. Another perfect dodge into gun strike. We're cooking him. Whenever he throws that projectile right there, where he swings his sword or he swings his blade and a projectile comes out, always dodge twice, because you never know if he's going to do one or two. So always dodge twice. And there we go. That's the entire operation. I think we showed off plenty of situations where we pulled off a very large number of perfect parries. We did some perfect dodges. Created a lot of gun strikes. We managed the Horde. We managed our teammates' health. And those are the things that I personally am looking to do, and the things that I'm paying attention to while I am doing operations. Okay, so that's my mindset, and that's my approach to it. And so we'll take a look at the build here for anyone who wants to see it. You're going to notice that my build is not like a large majority of the builds that you're going to see out there. Taking a look at this end screen, we managed to get the most kills, but that's never my priority. I am not trying to get the most kills. I am not really trying to do the most damage either. That's personally not my focus. Whatever damage I can do, I'm pretty satisfied with that, as long as I stayed alive because this is Ruthless difficulty. So staying alive is very important, because if you die and then your teammates die, it's all over, right? So making sure that you have personal accountability and staying alive yourself is top priority. And then the damage is what it is. You're not going to have more range damage than anyone with range. And if you get certain classes like Assault, you're not going to have more melee damage than Assault. So I tend not to focus on those things. I am trying to actively focus on damage taken, though. I would like to take the least amount of damage, which means that I mitigated a good majority of the damage that was coming in, right? So that stat is very important to me, but for the most part, that is my approach when it comes to looking at the end stat screen. Okay, so now we'll go and we'll take a look at the build here, just for anyone that wants to see it. Alright, so for this one we used this particular pistol. I think this version has the most ammo. I think it has the highest ammo count, which is why I'm using the relic version of this pistol. And these are the perks that I'm using. This is the perk setup that I'm using. I put a lot of stock into the HP perks on my weapons, just because that allows me to survive at lower health. Now, let's talk about this weapon. The reason why I was not going for as many parries against the boss, and even in some encounters that I would normally, is because I wanted to do this entire operation with a balanced weapon. Okay? Now, as we know, and as it says right here on the screen, fencing weapons have an increased parry perfect window, balanced weapons have a moderate perfect parry window, and then block weapons cannot perfect parry, or it's so minuscule that it's negligible, right? So obviously fencing weapons will give you the best opportunity to be consistent with perfect parries. But I wanted to do this gameplay fully with a balanced weapon to show that even with a moderate perfect parry window, the consistency with which I can pull off parries in a normal operation, in a Ruthless, the highest level of difficulty operation. Okay, and I did that on purpose, even though I would normally use a fencing weapon, to create, just a little bit more of comfortability and ease of use. But it is entirely capable to pull this off with just a balanced weapon, and I think I have demonstrated that, right? So, and one thing is, a lot of the times you'll have additional stats if you can be consistent enough with the moderate perfect parry window. All that does is give you basically additional stats. You can basically get additional speed and cleaving potential, and in some cases damage, if you play with the balanced weapon. That means that you're going to give up a little bit of your perfect parry window and make it a little bit harder on yourself, but if you can master it, you will be rewarded a little bit more. So that is why I chose to do this video with this weapon, just to show that yes, fencing weapons are the preferred for bulwarks, but mastering this and getting it down, it will pay off, right? Alright, so this is the perks that I am using on this particular chainsword. Nothing too special here, right? Nothing too special here. So, like I said, I do take a lot of stock in the HP perks on the weapons, because those are what allow you to either heal back health or to fight more confidently at lower health. Alright, and then right here, these are the perks that I have set up. So I believe that this perk setup, now you'll see that I don't use, you'll see a lot of builds from bulwarks and content creators out there that utilize the shock grenades and the shock abilities for this class. I personally do not use those. I think that those are certainly viable builds and they do help quite a bit, but there are a lot of bulwarks running that, so I tend to use unconventional methods and go unconventional routes. So this is the setup that I'm using. So my first perk, I am using um, conviction, and this just allows me to basically keep my armor topped up with gun strikes while losing the least amount of health that I can, right? So I know that I can gun strike pretty confidently and pretty consistently, which means it's going to give me armor when I do that, and then it's going to get depleted again so that I can get that 5 seconds without taking less health again. And I believe that I can do that with pretty good consistency, which is why I run that perk. Scramble targeting. Do y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? That's the sound of people sleeping on this perk. That is the sound of people having whole dreams going to sleep on this perk. Well, they need to wake up because they're about to have nightmares. This perk is, it is very good. It is very good, and I don't think it gets a lot of attention. I don't think many people see the value in this perk, but I find this extremely valuable because when there are ranged units that I personally cannot reach and I am fighting enemies that are directly in front of me, this mitigates a lot of that damage when I am getting focused down like that. Yes, you do have a shield that blocks range damage. That is true. However, you are surrounded by 5 or more enemies quite a bit. It is very often when you're playing operations and when you meet the conditions of certain perks, you'll hear a sound that sounds like a Sprite can opening, but it's really just you opening up a can of whoop ass. But it's the sound, for some reason, our can of whoop ass for bulwarks sound like they're carbonated. I'm not sure why, but it sounds like you're opening up a can of Sprite, and you will hear this sound so many times throughout encounters, and that is because you are being surrounded by 5 or more enemies, and this perk activates. And it's just really good for when you want to actually, do melee swings like back to back, but not worry too much about taking massive damage from ranged units that are also focusing you down. So I think people are sleeping on this perk quite a bit. I do run it quite a bit. If I'm not running this, then I am running the top perk in this category. So our next one, Steel Within. I would also say that most bulwarks will run this. Of course, it just mitigates a lot of the damage that you receive. Nothing too special there. This is the advanced conditioning perk, the one that I was talking about. Or actually, that's the next perk. This one, of course, just allows that contested health to fade not as quick and allow you more opportunity to heal up. So very good perk. I am running Focus Strength, which pretty much creates gun strike opportunities whenever you shield bash the small enemies. That's what this perk does. Because it knocks them down and they lose control, they get opened up for gun strike opportunities. So that's what the shield bash does when you have this perk. And then this is the perk that I was talking about, Invigorating Icon. So when the banner is activated, all squad members regain maximum contested health. As we talked about earlier, you want to do that a lot of the times when you have a major, you can do it with a minor, but it's a lot easier to predict with majors because the animation is longer and you can see that your teammate is doing the execution, and you can place it down anytime during that execution as long as the banner gets placed down during the execution at some point and they get that contested health, they'll go back to full health. So as I showed earlier, I think close to the beginning, I put it down even close to the end of Brother Leon's execution, and he still got to full health. So very easy. This one just helps me revive any down teammates. If you are confident that your teammates are not going to get down, let's say like you and your team run operations or run the same operation pretty consistently and everyone knows what they're doing, then you don't necessarily have to take this one. You can run one of the other perks. But if you are solo queuing like I do, I pretty much only solo queue. I don't play with any friends or anything. So when I queue up with others, I'm not too sure yet of their talents, just to put it that way. So just to make sure that I can cover them, I bring this banner along with me. But like I said, if you don't need it, you don't need it, and you can run something else. And then for the last perk, I run this Armored Advance. If you have armor remaining, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. What I mainly run this perk for is it stops myself from getting hit out of gun strikes, right? So if you have any armor remaining, is what it says. So when I execute a gun strike, but there's another enemy swinging at me, that gun strike could give me armor, and then I would be able to not get staggered on that incoming hit. If you don't have this perk, you can get knocked out of certain gun strikes. Things like that can happen. Now, a cool thing is if you run this perk along with this, or I'm sorry, not that. This along with this is pretty cool, because what this does right here is it gives you an armor plate back when you gun strike, even if it doesn't kill the enemy. So let's say like if you gun strike a major but they don't die from it, you still get armor back. So when you are running these two perks in combination, it is very hard for you to get staggered. So that's just a tip that I'll put that out there. I'm not running that back right now just because I'm being more team oriented, team focused, and running the second perk. But that is something that Bulwarks can consider running, right? So that's pretty much it. That's the video. That's everything that we learned in parts 1 and 2 as far as managing the Horde, doing perfect parries, even in some cases doing perfect dodges while out during operations. And keep in mind, this is on the highest difficulty. This is during Ruthless, and I only had one teammate and a bot. Okay, we didn't die. We kept our teammates alive. We kept their health topped off, and we got through the operation. So that is, I believe, a good demonstration of what is possible once you can consistently train and get your perfect parries down. Your defense will go up quite significantly, and your gameplay will be much better for it. And then of course you can start working on your perfect dodges. I will consider doing a video about that, and try to get more examples. We saw that during the HIVE Tyrant fight, but I'll try to get more examples of that for you guys. But other than that, I just want to say thank you again for all the support from all of my brothers out there. You guys have been completely awesome. You've been in the comment section asking some great questions, showing a lot of love and support, and I am extremely thankful and honored for that. Hopefully this video just adds to what we already learned and what you have seen in our other two parts. And of course, if you have any questions, just ask, and I've been trying to respond to every single comment. I think I've been doing a pretty good job. If I missed anyone's comment, I do apologize, but I've been responding pretty actively. So if you have any questions, or if you just want to, you know, say hey, that's totally fine. Put some comments down in the comment section. Also, let's make sure we dislike the video. It's very important that all of my brothers dislike this. I know it's a long video, but make sure you hit the dislike button. Okay, let's get to at least 200 dislikes. I want to see 200 dislikes on this one. All right, thank you guys. We're gonna go ahead and end it here, and may you go forth with shield in hand for the Emperor.